Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Pitch Track Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tats. I'm here with Donald. And Donald, what are they doing? What are the Yankees doing? Right? And I can't figure out how one of the first things they do in this offseason is give Trent Grisham a qualifying offer. Yes, he had a career year. He did. He was great for us. I'm not taking anything away from Grisham. He's a great guy. He's a great player. His teammates love him. But financially, it just doesn't make sense. Why would you take the risk of somebody who made $5 million last year to give him now an opportunity to make 3 times, 4 times that money? It just doesn't. It doesn't resonate with me as a smart business move. It also, these qualifying offers, sometimes they can set the tone for how the market's going to go for the rest of that position in the offseason. Well, if you got a qualifying offer for 21, what makes you think Bellinger is going to not ask for double that for what he was able to produce? So you do run the risk with the qualifying offer, which I think is one of the stupidest things in the game. As far as what the GMs have to work with, I think it's a bad move for a good player, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, so the qualifying offer is $22 million. So there's several factors to this. We actually touched on this before. Yep. There's a very good chance of a lockout being next year. That might be actually one of the reasons why Grisham rejects the qualifying offer, is because he might be out of contract by the time that there's a lockout. So we're hoping, because I don't want him to accept the qualifying offer. I really don't want him to accept the qualifying offer. It's nothing against Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham was great, man. But if you look at his metrics, I believe he's like minus 11 defensive runs saved. Even though I quite liked him in center field, it's trending downwards there. And offensively, there is no way in hell he's going to match that what he had last year, 30-plus million. 30-plus home runs. I cannot see it. That's not a disrespect to Grisham. I don't think it's a fluke, but I don't think it's I also don't think he's going to consistently put up those numbers. I just don't see it. He's never been that in his career, apart from a contract year. I think that's a really risky proposition to extend him or to offer him a qualifying offer. I think it's a really, really risky proposition, because if he accepts, then it throws our outfield for a loop. What does that mean?
I think it also sets the budget.
What does that do for the budget? Because you know that Hal's obsessed with budget. What does that do for how we attack free agency? Does that mean that we're just going to roll it back? And if we roll it back, I believe that's going to be a tremendous mistake. This is, I don't know. The only positive from this would be if he rejects it and he obviously signs a contract elsewhere, then we get a pick.
You get the pick.
You get a compensatory pick, and that would be great. That's good business. But it's a risk, man, because how many teams are really going to be giving him a big contract? I can't see it.
Yeah.
I can't see it. What does that mean for Dominguez? What does that mean for Spencer Jones? What does that mean for, Kyle Tucker? That means that Kyle Tucker is probably not even going to be entertained, which I find absurd. He is the best free agent on the market. It's absurd that Kyle Tucker is not being linked with the Yankees more. The Yankees need an outfielder. They need a corner outfielder. They need someone that's in his prime, that's ready to step into the role of being Aaron Judge's protection, and then as the years move on, he'll be the main guy. The Yankees need that. That could be Kyle Tucker. But for what I think the Yankees are going to roll it back. I think if they can get Grisham and then they extend Bellinger, they call it job done. They're going to roll the. I can see it. I think they're going to roll this freaking thing back. Oh Lord! It's as if they didn't get completely run over by the Blue Jays. The Yankees are confounding, man. They really are. It's just like they live in their own little bubble.
Yeah.
They live in their own little bubble. That they are just the smartest. They are the best, and they're completely oblivious to the fact that they have done. I mean, they've basically done nothing since 2009. Now they can butter up other ways, you know. But as far as I'm concerned, unless you win a championship, you've done nothing. And the Yankees have done nothing since 2009. And they're in this bubble where, we're going to roll it back. We won 94 games. Yeah, but you lost the division. Yeah, but we won 94 games. Yeah, but then you also got run over by the Blue Jays in the DS. You didn't even make it to the CS. You took a step back. They would deny it, of course, but they took a step back. There is no doubt about it. They were in the World Series year before last year. They lost the division, didn't make it to the CS. That is a step back. And the Yankees, great season, awesome year. Let's go. Let's roll it back. Oh, God, I can't take this team.
It's like we knew the excuses were getting lined up as soon as Cole went down, right? We all said it, early in the season. Like, there's their excuse right then and there. And then as the pitching started to deal with their injuries, the uncertainty of what Heel was going to look like when he came back, then we lose Schmidt. Thank God for Schlittler to at least give us a little bit of hope, to fortify a rotation. But now Rodon, starting the season without Rodon. There's a lot of work this team has to do. There are a lot of upgrades at positions this team needs to make.
Yep.
Is Grisham an upgrade to, as of now, really not having a center fielder? Yeah. On paper, it looks like it could fit. Financially, I don't think it does. I don't. And like I said, it's nothing against Grisham. I like Grisham. He gave us a lot of exciting moments. But it comes down to when you're dealing with sports in New York, it's what have you done for me lately? And he completely disappeared in the postseason.
Oh, he was anonymous, completely.
He was non-existent. So, Bellinger, injured, did better than Grisham healthy.
Right.
That tells you everything you need to know of where you should have prioritized your money that you are allocating for your outfield position. Not giving them the qualifying offer saying, look, because I think last year you're not going to get that back. Grisham in 25 is not going to be in 26. If it is, I will gladly say I was wrong. But, we've been watching sports for a long time, Donald. You don't see career years like that back to back. You don't do it. I think the only two players you can say really do it on a consistent basis where they outdo their previous year would be Ohtani and Judge. Other than those two guys, you could pretty much, it's a guessing game of what you're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it'd be more than just those two. I mean, you're probably adding like Freddie Freeman and things like, the top 10 players in the game, but I know what your point is.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed to get Grisham to even come close to the numbers that he put up on a contract year. I think that the risk outweighs the positives here.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't have picked up his qualifying offer. I think that the risk outweighs the positives because you've got Dominguez, you've got Spencer Jones waiting to be utilized. You've got them. You've got Bellinger, who the Yankees are obsessed with, and then they've got Kyle Tucker, a free agent who should be the Yankees' priority. And how are the Yankees going to maneuver this? Also, let's not forget that Aaron Judge is, he's not going to be a right fielder forever. You're probably going to want to, as the years go on. I mean, that injury basically indicated to you that there's going to be times where he needs to DH. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
you better hope it's while Stanton's
yeah,
slumping.
and these are all questions that need to be raised. They need to, you know, raise their head above the ground and then really take stock of where they are. And Grisham probably hurts rather than helps. I mean, he's only a center fielder. He can't play the corners. So what are you going to do here? Are you going to sign Cody Bellinger then? Then what does that mean for Dominguez? Dominguez becomes a fourth outfielder. What does that mean for Spencer Jones? He spends another year at AAA where he's far too good to be AAA. What are you going to do?
I don't.
The negatives outweigh the positives. Because if Grisham accepts that qualifying offer, then we're on the hook for $22 million. It affects our free agency. It affects our maneuverability. It shouldn't if we had an owner that was willing to spend whatever it took, but we don't. So we have to bear these things in mind. That $22 million, I feel, outweighs the positives of a compensatory pick, in my opinion. The Yankees, I don't know. I wouldn't have done this move. I think the negatives outweigh the positives. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that Grisham rejects it and signs a nice, cushy deal elsewhere in the National League, and then we get ourselves a compensatory pick. But I don't know. It's a massive risk. It's a massive risk.
If I'm an agent for an MLB player, any of my clients that get a qualifying offer, if they want to take it, I'm slapping them in the head. Because, like you said, 2027 is a great unknown right now. To what
Right.
you were alluding to earlier. You know, if I'm a free agent, I'm taking no less than 3 years. 3 years. That's it. You know, because I want that security for when for the years to come. Because during a lockout, they're not going to get paid. We went over that the other day. Yeah, and I think that, look, the Yankees, payroll last year was in 25 was 305. I believe after all the money that came off the books, they're at 245 at this point, give or take. So they do have funds, they have money to work with. And that's
it's going to disappear quick if you pick up $22 million worth of Grisham, my friend.
And so, but now you're dealing with less money. That's why I'm saying I think this was not against Grisham. He was great for us last year. I enjoyed watching him. He was exciting. But I think that financially, offering a qualifying offer, I think is a financial mistake because you are handcuffing yourself for improvements otherwise. You can, it's almost like if Grisham takes this offer, you can kiss Kyle Tucker goodbye. It might even cause you to be out on Bellinger if you can't work out a deal that he's already been here and he wants to be a Yankee. You may not, your ability to play on his heartstrings, is going to run short at some point.
Right.
So that's why I would not have. Originally, my first thought was, give him a 1 year deal, 15, 16 mil. Give him a little more than double of what he was making because I think he did earn it. And you still have $5-6 million that's not in the qualifying offer to allocate to somebody else that you need. So that's where I think that the money coming on with this new CBA, they better get rid of this qualifying offer because I think it just complicates the budgets too much. And yes, these owners they are not living in poverty, but they are watching the money they spend. We see it firsthand with the Yankees every year. They will have one of the highest payrolls, but they have a GM that don't know how to spend it. That's the other problem. We've got over that over and over again. But you need to upgrade this lineup. This lineup needs significant change. And you still want to leave room for these kids that are going to be coming up,
right?
Where we don't know what Jones is going to be. We don't know what Lombard is going to be. What's going to be the progression, with Wells and Rice? Is Caballero going to be a significant part of the team? McMahon, it says offense with us for a full year going to improve. I'm not worried about his defense. You also have Judge. He's a phenom. Every time we work, we panic about when is he going to have that off year, and it never happens. Sorry to be a reality check for everybody. It's going to happen. So where is the insurance to make sure that Judge does not become the next Mattingly without a title?
Well, we're well on our way towards that. Let's be honest, we're steamrolling our way towards that because we have wasted Aaron Judge's prime years. Absolutely wasted it. And the fact that Brian Cashman doesn't take any responsibility for that is shame on him.
Well, that's a crime.
But I mean, let's look at this situation. Okay, so let's look at the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario for me is Grisham accepts the qualifying offer. Mm-hmm. He's on the hook for $22 million, right? Then Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers, and then Cody Bellinger signs with the Phillies, right? Then what do? Then our outfield is significantly worse.
Yeah.
Then you're probably looking at Grisham, and then you probably have Dominguez play left field, and then right field Judge. But then what happens if anyone gets hurt? I mean, so that would be worst case scenario. I just don't see how this benefits the Yankees. Like, I don't see it apart from a compensatory pick. If he accepts the qualifying offer, we're on the hook for $22 million. $22 million. That's way above his value, as far as I'm concerned. Way above his value. Especially when he does revert back to the norm, which he probably will this year. Because I just don't see it. How's he going to hit 30 home runs back-to-back here? I'd be shocked. Absolutely shocked. He's the prime candidate of being the guy that played his absolute ass off to earn an enormous contract.
That's why as much as I'm talking about moving on from him, I do want to give him, I do want to praise him for what he was able to do for us. Because he's won a few awards for us on the positive end throughout the year. He was a solid. So Grisham, if you're listening or watching, look, we don't hate you. We just financially, it just doesn't make sense.
At least I love the guy. He actually was one of my favorite Yankees. I genuinely could not understand why Aaron Boone didn't use him when we first acquired him.
Well, we had Verdugo.
Exactly. I was like, this guy is so much better than Verdugo. It's not even funny. And the Yankees ignored him for an entire year. So it's not the case that I'm saying I don't like Grisham or I didn't rate him. I rated him highly. I rated him higher than a lot of people did. I thought it was an absolute steal of a trade. I stand by it. It was amazing acquisition. But I just can't look at $22 million as being a smart way of doing business. Now, obviously, this could all change if he rejects the qualifying offer and signs out.
Viewed argument, yeah.
Then okay. But if not, I mean, do you want to extend him? Because I don't. And that's why I don't see the benefit of it. I think we need to move on. We need to be smarter. We need to be looking at things like contact. We need to be looking at
Bellinger.
I don't like Bellinger that as much as everybody else does. I think he's another prime candidate to have a step down year. So
he does have a trend of having, going every other year, almost like a relief pitcher. You're going to get every other year out of him. What?
Goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's not someone that you want
Well,
to go in
Bellinger's
on 5 years.
Bellinger's value, I think, going into this coming season is going to be his versatility in the outfield and the ability to play first.
Right, and I
I
think that's
think defensively, his value is
very good.
tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is being
With
overblown.
the bat is what the question mark is going to be.
Exactly.
Than
We're
him
not
coming
paying him,
off of a year that he did very well.
we're not paying him 30 million plus, which we probably would have to.
I don't see that
for someone to play amazing defense and a solid bat. That's not value for 30 plus million. You can get that a hell of a lot cheaper. That's why I'm not in on Cody Bellinger as much as everyone else is. I would not extend him. I'm standing on this hill. I might be one of the only ones to do it, but I'm standing on this hill. I am not extending Cody Bellinger at all.
Okay.
I won't go anywhere over 3 years, or 2 years plus an option. Anything more than that, I'm out. I'm completely out because I think it's going to age really badly, Cody Bellinger. So I'm just not doing it. I think that if you look at his career, the trends are up and down, up and down. He's not the same hitter as he was in his MVP year, and like he might have been our low key MVP this year, but I'm looking at the future, and I just don't think it would be a smart call to go anything over 3 years with this guy. But we do have someone who completely disagrees, and that's what we like here. We like a bit of different discussion. You have to be kidding. How do you know? You have to base on what he did in 2025. That's a lonely hill. I think that would be really dumb to only base it on 2025 because you have to look at his entire career. You can't just base it on the best year that he's had in a while. I think that would be a very poor use of resources. So I don't think it's that lonely a hill. If you look at Cody Bellinger's past 5 years as a sample size, he's had a lot of up and down years. So is that something that you really want to go 5-6 years with over $30+ million per year, especially considering the Yankees budget these days? I just don't think that that's a very wise use of resources. I think he's better ways in which you would spend that money. Who do you replace them with? His name's Kyle Tucker. I would go all in on Kyle Tucker. There you go. That's your question answered. But thank you very much for messaging it.
But and let's take a pause on our thoughts on this. Let's get to this chat that's actually killing it right now. I want to thank everybody that is subscribed, dropping comments. If you want to join the discussion, it's very easy. Just hit that sub button. If you're watching, hit that like button, share this out, and help this channel grow this off season as we get ready for 2026. Tucker would be the replacement. Damian Serrano, what's going on, Damian? Belly won't get 30+ million, which I think he knows, and he's looking for our years, probably 25 to 27 million per year. That would make sense. And that's why, Damian, I think because of that dark cloud of the lockout, I think players are going to be looking more at years than the salary within at this point.
I do agree with that.
No, you're going to get the superstars are going to get their money. We know that, but they're going to want that security for after the lockout. If there is no baseball in 27, when they come back in 28, do they have a job? That's why, to Donald's point, it'd be stupid for anybody to take a qualifying offer, especially for us. I would that's why I said if I'm an agent, I am not letting any of my clients take a qualifying offer because you're going to have a 1-year deal. Then there's going to be that pending lockout, and you're not going to have a team to play for. And then you have to hope that they call you back the next year and give you a deal because you'll be another year older. And the older you get, the harder it is to keep your job in sports. That's just the reality of it. Yes, Tucker is a question mark. But I mean, I think his resume, along with if it's Tucker or Bellinger, in my opinion, I can't be mad. I just don't. That's why I said it's not nothing against Grisham. Financially, it doesn't make sense, and it is an upgrade.
Right. I mean, let's not forget that the year before we acquired him, he had a 2 WAR for the Cubs. But he also had a 4.8 WAR in 2023. But in 2022, with the Dodgers, a 1.3 WAR. 2021, a minus 1.6 WAR. 2020, a 1.5 WAR. So that's 4 bad years out of 5 before going to the Yankees. He had a very good year with the Yankees. They had a 5 WAR with the Yankees. But I think that would be negligent just to look at 2025. He's only, I mean, that's not good business.
It was
You
an
can't
outlier
go,
of a year.
He had a good year in 2025. Give him an enormous contract. You have to look at what he's done before. And 4 out of the 5 years prior, he was not good. And you have to consider that when looking at the number of years and the kind of money that it's going to be required to pay a Cody Bellinger. Kyle Tucker does not have those same questions. He might be a small step back defensively, but he is a huge upgrade offensively, and he's younger, and he's going to give you what you need moving forward. But we know that the Yankees no longer sign the best free agents in the game anymore. That's just not what they do.
Yeah, I like this one comment here with because I think this does play into the fan base being comfortable bring somebody in that hasn't been here, and that's that having that World Series ring. They've already reached the peak of the mountain. The pressure is off of them, but that hunger for another one is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And he does very well in October. You're right. Also, this comment from FJ: the Yankees should sign Okamoto and trade for Kwan. We're going to get into trades as the season goes on.
Yeah, right, I quite like the idea of Kwan, just not for Spencer Jones, but I quite like the idea of Kwan because we do need a leadoff hitter. Grisham is not
a bingo. Leadoff hitter. That's what he would be. I doubt they'll steal Tucker from the Dodgers. Yeah, it's going to be tough to negotiate. The Dodgers are a juggernaut. And I said on the last show, don't think that the Blue Jays are not going to feel just as hungry and be, they're going to be aggressive too. So, even though I think they'll take a step back without their bench coach, that's another story. But you see, I see that I can see the Blue Jays being highly aggressive. They were there. They want to get back. They want to finish this. They want their rings too. So don't expect them to just sit back and be like, we got, let's just reset. We didn't finish the job. No, they already have a lot of their pieces in place, but we'll see because we still don't know what's going to happen with Bichette.
But we know that Hal doesn't want to go much over 305.
No, last year was 305. I think he's going to want to. I think if it stretches to 315, I'd be happy.
Right.
I'd be happy with 350. But I think it's just going to be a little bit over. I'd be surprised if it stays 305 or less.
Here's why it's a worry, though, because let's be honest here. Mm-hmm. The Yankees took a step back. No matter what the Yankees try and tell you that they didn't, they took a step back. They lost the division. The Blue Jays wiped the floor with them and look miles better than the Yankees. Wiped the floor with them, ran them over, absolutely obliterated the Yankees, okay? The Yankees lost the division, didn't even make it to the CS. That's a step back. But the way the Yankees are projecting right now is they want to roll it back. And that's a massive mistake. Standing still is going backwards, in my opinion. So, if you look at it this way, right? See where we're at right now. Are we? Didn't you say the numbers are we're about like 245 right now?
Yeah, I think that's what I heard.
Right. Okay. So then Grisham, say
Now you're at
say Grisham,
265.
say Grisham accepts the qualifying offer, right? Now you're up to 265, something like that. Say you extend Bellinger, right? That's now 22 million. No, it'd be more than 22 million. That would be like
Let's
27,
say
30
25.
million,
Yeah.
between 27 and 30 million, something like that. Then you're in the 290s, right? And then you also need a fifth starter. You need some bullpen arms. You need some in case shit money.
A first
And
baseman,
you also need to look at first baseman. You need to look at a third baseman.
shortstop.
And a shortstop. And a backup catcher.
Yeah.
Are the Yankees going to sign any other free agents worth a shit? No, they are not. That's why I am completely out on that because of Hal's budget. Now, if we were in a different world, we were the Dodgers, for instance, where the Yankees didn't have a budget, then I would not have these concerns. But I'm looking at it realistically because all Hal ever says is, I've got bondsmen to pay, I've got partners to pay, I've got family members to pay, blah-de-blah-de-blah. And he keeps saying, this payroll is not sustainable. He keeps saying it. So until he says something different, I'm going to listen to the man, right? So if he says that 305 is not sustainable, that means he wants it to be less. And if that's the case, then we are screwed because of all the issues that the Yankees are completely ignoring because I keep saying it, they live in their own bubble. They think that they're better than they are. What they really are just a good team. They're not any more than that. They're not a great team. They're not an excellent team. They're not a World Series team. They're just a good team, right? They make the playoffs and get their asses handed to them in the playoffs. Now, if you guys are happy with that, then all power to you. I'm not.
It's funny. You remember the whole, the baseball world is catching up to us. Meanwhile, we already saw that they had passed them by. Well, I'm looking at this comment here from Healing, and it's like he's already playing with a salary cap.
Yes.
Does that mean that we actually have the smartest owner in baseball? That he's by the time this salary cap hits after this new CBA, he's going to be so far ahead of the game that the owners aren't going to be able to catch up to him. You can almost see like that. That's Hal's mindset. He goes, "I'm going to get ahead of the game, and they're going to have to chase me with with having to run the cap."
Right.
But no, this team we said needs a lot of upgrades. Donald, I actually have written down a list.
Okay.
Of what would be our as of now, the players that have to, the way I did it, the players have to be contracted. So, of what our opening day lineup would be, and then who is the top free agent based on WAR, for each position. So in catcher you have Wells / Rice, right? As Wells, Rice is the backup. The first the catcher that's leading free agent in WAR is Real Muto. Upgrade or no?
Is Real Muto an upgrade over Austin Wells?
Yes.
Overall, then sure. Austin Wells had a big step back year.
He had an off year.
He had a really good year defensively. But, obviously long term, you'd probably go Wells because Real Muto is definitely on the downside of his career. Real Muto had a 2.5 WAR, 257 batting average, 52 revs, 700 OPS, 91 OPS plus. Let's just look at Austin Wells very quickly.
Real Muto is projected to have a 4.0 WAR.
Yeah, Austin Wells at a 0.1 WAR, a 712 OPS, 95 OPS plus. It's kind of a wash, really. But if you ask me if Ben Rice is an upgrade, I'm going to go Ben Rice. So right now, my answer is it's a wash.
Okay, fair enough. First base, obviously, the only one on the roster right now that can play it would be Rice. The free agents are Alonso is the top free agent for first
Oh, that's
base,
a no-brainer then.
and I also put Akamoto in there only because he's not yet to be posted, but it's
Or
expected for him to
Murakami.
be available.
Or
So
Murakami.
I did. That's why that the Japanese players that were waiting to get posted, I did put them as possible replacement just to be fair to the breakdown. But obviously, how do you think that breakdown is the free agent class, the free agent, an upgrade over what we have?
Well, obviously. That's
Yeah,
not
no,
even funny.
no, I agree.
We don't have a natural first baseman, so yeah, I would say it's an upgrade.
Yeah,
Murakami's getting posted today, so Murakami, Okamoto, and Alonso wipe the floor with any Yankee options. So yeah.
yeah. Second base, Jazz Chisholm would be
Mm-hmm.
our second baseman on opening day. The top free agent, Gleyber Torres.
Only a
Upgrade or you
walk.
run it back?
Uh, I mean, I'll probably stick with what we got.
I do like
But
Jazz.
yeah,
He's got a big
I'm
mouth,
not
but
with Jazz, but uh, but yeah, it's a tough call.
yeah, only because I'm not a big fan. I've never been a fan of bringing players back.
Yeah,
Um, it worked for Pettit in '09, but that was about it for me. um, so yeah, I would stick with Jazz.
yeah.
All right, third base, McMahon would be our third baseman on opening day. The top free agent right now, Bregman.
Oh, come on.
That's a no brainer, Bregman.
Yeah,
Right, all right. Shortstop. Right now, we don't really have a full time shortstop.
no.
I did write down Cabanero.
Or
Um,
Volpe. Let's go
well,
Volpe.
Volpe's going to be hurt. He's not going to be on open. He's not going to be here opening day.
Yeah, but the Yankees are going to force him to
I
be
don't.
ready
I
as soon
went
as
by what?
possible.
Yeah, I went by opening day availability.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kicking off the season, this is who will be playing that position.
Okay.
The top free agent, Miguel Rojas. Um, I'd rather
Bo
stick with
Bichette.
Cabby.
Bo Bichette.
Bo Bichette is that because Rojas when he's 37. Let's keep that in mind because I do have the page open from MLB what I got the information from. You'll be 37 years old with a projected 4.5 WAR.
Yeah, but
Bo Bichette, Bo
yeah.
Bichette at 28 is a 4.1. So you look at the age. I think Bichette would be. It should have been the name I wrote down just because of the age.
Yeah, it's Bo Bichette.
So let's say Bichette.
Let's just call
Let's
it.
be
Bo
realistic.
Bichette is the shortstop. Obviously, Bo Bichette's better than anything the Yankees could dream of having.
Yeah, I mean, other shortstops available. If we're going to talk about replacing Volpe, let's take a pause on this position. So the free agents for shortstop right now, as of now, we got Miguel Rojas, Bo Bichette, Ha-Sung Kim, IKF, Jorge Mateo, Orlando Garcia, and Tim Anderson.
Well, Ha-Seong Kim would be a very good addition. Bo Bichette would obviously be a no-brainer. Rojas would be fine. Any of those three would be better than fine. Actually, be very, very good. All three are better than what we have. So,
yeah, I mean, I think Tim Anderson would have negative 1.3 WAR at 33 would be an upgrade over Volpe.
that's terrifying.
Not, all right, moving along. All right, left field. Right now we're looking at Dominguez for left field. The top free agent available for left field right now is Rob Refsnyder.
Rob Refsnyder?
Yep.
Well, and I'm taking
The left field free agent list kind of sucks.
So Kyle Tucker is he counting as a
He's
right
listed
fielder?
as a right fielder.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, it's easy. Dominguez.
Yep. And yes, the notification did come through. Murakami is expected to be posted today.
Yep.
So
Starting at 45.
we'll be able to break that down on Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would stick with Dominguez.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah,
Center field.
and I like Rev Snyder. I think he's actually been able to carve out himself. But really, don't forget, we passed on him because we were getting, we thought we were getting Cano back. Actually, no, it was the other way around. We kept him because we thought we were losing Cano. He was that. He was our starting second baseman that year.
Unbelievable. Now he's an outfielder. All right, center
That's
field.
how long he's. That's a long of. That's a number of years back when you're thinking about him taking over for Robbie Cano.
Right.
And just to still have relevancy in the league, hats off to him for what he's been able to do.
Oh, he's been great Red Sox. An excellent.
Right. So center field, this is a no-brainer because right now we don't have one. And Bellinger, it would be the top free agent with a projected 7.0 WAR.
Right. I mean, where would Grisham land on that?
Well, he's still technically a free agent.
Okay. And Grisham's WAR was less than Bellinger's.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, Cody Bellinger is listed as a 7.0. Grisham is listed as a 3.7.
$22 million for a 3 WAR. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's really poor value. Okay. Well, then it's Cody Bellinger. Yeah, actually, Spencer Jones would probably count as.
Yeah, but is he going to be starting opening day?
I mean, at the moment, if there's no other outfielders.
Yes, though I know we have Jones, and believe me, I'm waiting with bated breath for him to get called up. But until that happens, I made my list based on the parameters that I could work with. If opening day was today, what's my lineup going to look like? For that position. That's how I did this.
It's fair.
Because I could have easily changed it and said, well, Grisham, but what if Grisham doesn't take the qualifying offer and so we'll sign somewhere else? So I couldn't use him in that at all. So right field, I think, is interesting because the free agent can be, like Bellinger, can be moved anywhere. But to keep the list fair, it would be Judge. The free agent replacement would be Tucker. Obviously, we're not moving from Judge, but Tucker still is our go-to agent, free agent.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker can play left field.
Yeah.
There's also Kyle Schwarber, Luca points out. Would you consider signing Kyle Schwarber?
We still have one more spot to do in the lineup, Donald.
Okay.
We have the DH spot. Stanton and Schwarber. Because Schwarber is listed as a DH.
Oh, well, I mean, Big G's my boy, so I'm perfectly happy with Big G.
What was that?
I'm perfectly happy with Big G. He's my boy.
Yeah.
Big G's my ride or die.
I kind of like Schwarber in the National League. I think he really fits well with the National League ballparks. And so I mean, I think like Alonso, I think he's going back to Queens. I don't see them.
So. I don't think so.
Well, I think it's Queen. My gut tells me he's gonna give the Mets a deal. I think he would go team friendly.
I don't think
if he's really all about the money.
I don't think he's doing it again.
If they talk, I mean, they kind of did him wrong, making him
right. He gave them a deal last year. He's not doing it again. But Armand could probably say otherwise because he's a Met fan. Donald is right. Pete is not coming back to Queens. Certainly not on a budget, and certainly not on a deal, not a team-friendly deal. I think he pretty much made it clear after the Mets season ended that Pete was ready to try out different places and really free agency.
I could kind of see him in Boston.
But wait a minute, you just said that he's going to come back to.
Now that the evidence. Well, more evidence is being laid in front of me.
Why do you think that's going to happen?
I think Boston's going to look for a bat. I think they're going to try to use him as a DH.
No, no, no. I'm talking about you. You just said obviously a minute ago that he's going to come back to the Mets on a team-friendly deal. Why do you think that's going to happen? It's not a criticism.
Because I think that he appreciates it. He enjoys the fan base in Queens. Yeah, and that's been his only home. I was also taken to um, wanting familiarity. I think that plays into it. And kind of being that player that wants to see the finish line with the team that's had him the whole time.
Mm,
But as soon as you mentioned the fact that they kind of jerked him around last year, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
they kind of
Um,
did.
so yeah, maybe
They
my
they
prediction's a little more.
undervalued him last year, and he ended up being their best hitter. He ended up being better than Soto.
Yeah.
Um, when you really look at it, and they didn't really value him. I mean, it took a last-minute contract deal last year to bring him in, bring him back. I don't know if they valued him as highly as they probably should have, considering the year that he had. Um, Now, on Pete Alonso, there are rumors that Hal loves him some Pete Alonso. Uh, would you want Pete to be a Yankee?
Ooh. Last year, I would have jumped all over it. I was all in favor for it. You can rewind the tape. Um, Another year older. Where are we going to put him? What's going on, Sudge? It's I don't think so. I don't think I would want him now. You know, um, yeah. Is it still an upgrade? With Rice, I'd rather. It's tough
It's not tough for me. I'm all in. I would love
because
Pete Alonso.
if you get Alonso, but we talked about the Japanese guys, Origami and Murakami,
Right.
Okamoto and Murakami. I mixed the names. Shock. Um, we've tried hyping them up. I think that they can get involved with that too. And Rumsfeld, good jump in there, Lou.
I don't want Rumsfeld. We gotta do better. We're the New York frickin' Yankees. Let's make a statement. Let's sign Pete Alonso from under the Mets' noses. Um, you get that righty bat. You've got 35 to slash 45 home runs automatically every year. Yeah, he's not great defensively, but he's good at scooping, and that's the most important thing for me. Um, I think it'd be great. 6, 7 years, sign me up. I want Pete. You
Did you
can
say
have Pete.
6 to 7
Thank you.
years?
What's the deal? Let's sign it on the bottom line here, man. Let's get it done. Let's hash out a contract right now. I would love Pete Alonso, and I can't believe I'm saying this because years ago I would never ever have said it, but I
Yeah.
want Pete Alonso in here. It just shows how desperate I am as a fan because this team desperately needs something to make me interested in this coming year. Because right now,
How
nothing
old
I'm
is
hearing
he?
makes me remotely interested in 2026 as a Yankee fan.
So
No,
you said 6 to 7 year contract
oh
at 31 years old? No.
yeah,
You know what? I could see in the now that working out.
yeah.
I
Maybe
can.
not 7, but 6, 5, 6. Yeah, hell yeah.
And I can see every kid that's watching this going through good. But it's have you seen that stupid trend, Donald? Sorry, just a little sidetrack here with that whole 6-7 thing. In the comments, if your kids are driving you crazy with it, let me know because I work at a school. I'm with kids all the time,
What are we
and
doing?
it is the absolutely most annoying thing. I have no idea where it came from. I'm too old to understand trends, but supposedly there's this whole thing with 6 and 7, and when they're mentioned together, they all do this. Be glad you don't live in the States anymore. That's all I'm going to.
Okay. I'm lost. I'm lost.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, let's get into the chat.
Yeah.
Some here are too old. Two old dudes with like a combined year of like 85 are like, right. Let's have a look and see the chat because we've got a lot of people in the chat here. So we're gonna go right up, and right here we go. Now there was some people talking about Aaron Boone's nightmare interview on Talking Yanks. And CT Cards brought that up. Boone also said that the Yankees were the least analytical team in
That's good.
MLB.
I saw that comment. I wanted to get back to circle back to it. Good job,
Yeah.
Donald.
And CT's asking how we feel about offering Grisham a qualifying offer. I'm against it.
Yep.
Tats?
I'm against it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's madness.
I like the player, but I don't like the finances of it. Yeah.
I was too generous in giving Boone a 4 out of 10. The man just admitted he's a lousy manager. Exactly. Only the most secure manager that knows that he could never lose his job basically comes out and intimates that he's just a bad manager. That's hilarious. He's like, no, I don't use analytics. I'm just really bad at what I do. But I keep getting extended. I just keep getting new contracts. So what do you want from me?
But they're the least analytical team with one of the biggest analytical staffs.
Right. There you go.
So that just shows that all that says is how a team sucks.
Exactly. Healing Hearts 2026 is shaping up to be a shit show.
Yep.
It is. It really is. We're absolutely on that train, baby. We're on the train to shit show. Jonathan's ready to move on from Boone. Well, bro, I've been waiting for about 5 years, and it ain't happening anytime soon.
No.
I'm 5 years older with a hell of a lot more gray hairs, and I'm a hell of a lot grumpier than I was 5 years ago. There's still no hope of getting away from Aaron Boone. So Healing Man's Hearts doesn't think the lockout has much to do with it. Cashman just has to prove he's the smartest in the room. His
ego is unmatched. Legendary ego.
CT says, something tells me that we are going to take a giant step back next year. I hope I'm 100% wrong, but I got a feeling that I'm going to be disappointed with the moves we make this offseason. Absolutely. Because, for instance, for me, like, unless we sign like a blue chip free agent, like a number one free agent on the board, then I'm going to be disappointed. For me, standing still is taking a step back. And for everything that we're hearing, it's the same front office, it's the same coaching staff, more or less, other than a couple of shitty moves here or there. Same manager, it's the same philosophy. Volpe, they're going to try and force Volpe down our throats again. They're offering a qualifying offer to Trent Grisham. They're obsessed with Cody Bell. It says to me that they want to roll this thing back.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but let's also acknowledge they did release that they're not bringing. They declined the offer, the option on the Weisiger, and they did pick up Tim Hill's option.
Yeah, well, that was no brainer. You couldn't pick up Loizaga because all he does is injured. Honestly, getting out of bed for Loizaga is a chore because he'll get injured. So
his injuries just never allowed him to get a fair shot. Get
ready for the game. Great. Another log jam in the outfield. Sup, Luca? Armand. Shout out to Armand, man. Even though he's a Met fan, he is right on the Pinstripe Chronicles, giving us really important information. Per Jeff Passan, Japanese star, third baseman, Murakami will be posted today, officially starting the process. 45-day negotiating window begins. Now, salute to you, Armand. Thank you for your support to the channel, my guy. FJ says the Dodgers have picked up Max Muncy's option. That means no Murakami, and they will all be in on Tucker will be a Dodger. Oh God, can you imagine that?
The rich get richer. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Although I see Murakami as a first baseman rather than a third baseman.
Yeah.
So I would.
He can play third, but his strength is first.
I would not dismiss Murakami at all. Healing Man's Heart says I would rather have Tucker over Bellinger. That's a no-brainer. But tell the Yankees that. Tats, who would you rather? Tats or Tucker or Bellinger?
I mean, Tucker is he's the top dog as far as with the outfield free agents. Solely for the glove, I'd have to, and I know that he can handle the pressure. Bellinger can. It does automatically give us another first baseman to help out Rice. Versatility wise, Bellinger. Overall talent, it would have to be Tucker. I don't. It's tough because I won't get mad either way.
Okay,
so I can't
so
favor
you
one or
wouldn't
the
be
other.
mad if they extended Bellinger. Okay, well, there's a little bit more optimism because I would be mad. I think Tucker is the guy to go after younger and gives such a good bat. Put more monster numbers up. I completely agree with Stevie B there. Absolutely agree with that. FG also has a good point here. Okamoto, his versatility makes him a perfect fit. I agree with that too. He would be an excellent signing. He can play first. He can play third. Heidi is right here. Hal Steinbrenner probably made between $700 to $800 million. He's pocketed $300 million, all as well. He's also right here. They're showing their hands already. Yeah, they are. They're making it clear that they really want to roll this thing back.
That's what cash.
Martini money, baby. Let's get those martinis on tap.
That's what Boone said. Boone said he had no issue starting the next season with the same roster. And his big mouth, because I understand you don't want to throw your players under the bus. I don't want to, go backwards with the discussion. But you kind of told the GM you don't have to do too much. I like where I'm at. Instead of saying, look, there are areas we need to improve. That puts the GM on notice, going, hey, I need better players. You got to get me better to work with. No, well, run it back. And then all the money guys are going, hey, you know what? That's a good idea. We don't have to do shit now. Stupid. Why don't you just stop fucking talking?
Yeah, let's briefly talk about Aaron Boone on Talking Yanks. Oh, Lord. So he says, rightly or wrongly, we're like the least analytically driven team in managerial decisions in game. I mean, he ain't wrong because that's what we've been arguing for an entire year. That's like Rob's pointed that out numerous times. Like this is like that move, like whatever individual move we're talking about, you're like, there's no numbers that back that up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what numbers would back that up? He made a ton of calls this year. Some weird pinch hitting calls where you're like, that doesn't match up with anything. You know what I'm saying? And then the best example was Nestor Cortez. Nestor Cortez in World Series Game 1, to close out a game, he goes with Nestor Cortez against Freddie Freeman. And it blows up in his face, and the Yankees are like, how would you like an extension? We love you, Aaron. I mean, honestly, what are we doing here?
I mean, that move alone, to put Cortez in, they should have had a different manager in there the next game.
Absolutely, the next game.
Could you imagine the statement that would make to the sports world, firing the manager in the middle of a World
Absolutely.
Series?
It would have helped. It couldn't have hurt.
They'll be talking about that for centuries.
It literally doesn't get any worse than that. I mean, literally. But yeah, I don't think Boone realized that by him saying that we are the least analytically driven team in in-game decisions, I don't think he realized that means that he's opened himself up to implications that he's just really bad at managing because his calls have been wrong. And we were actually trying to consider that maybe we're giving him the benefit of the doubt by saying, well, it's Mike Fishman above him that's telling him to make these calls, or it's
but they also came out and made the statement that they don't make any of the decisions. Boone's on his own when it comes to the in-game moves.
Exactly. So why do you keep extending them then? The moves aren't working. Oh God, that's hilarious. I think A-Rod and Derek Jeter were trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
They were like, we like Aaron Boone because Boone's a lovely guy. Unlike Cashman, Boone is a personable, nice person.
He gets in front of the public. He's on the radio. Yep.
Yeah, you'd want to hang out with. You want to shoot the shit with. I'm sure Uncle Booney would be a really nice guy to have around your kids and all that stuff. I'm sure he's a lovely, lovely dude, right? And I'm sure Jeter and A-Rod were like, well, I don't want to say anything bad about this guy. He's a nice guy, right? So they were like, probably a lot of these decisions are going on above him, right? And then they're probably thinking, with his family history, Brett Boone, and all that, they were thinking, there's no way his IQ could possibly be this low. So it must be going on above him. Well, actually, Aaron Boone's come out and gone, no, it's in fact me. My IQ is in fact that low. That is worrying, man.
Yeah.
And Brian Cashman told us all that there would be a feeding frenzy for Aaron Boone. A feeding frenzy. And I quote, a feeding frenzy. Dude, you've been watching too many fucking Shark Week documentaries, bro. There would be no feeding frenzy for Aaron Boone.
No, it's all lip service. That's all it is. They have nothing to give us, so they're just going to keep recycling the same shit from the previous years.
Right. Exactly. Boone has no self-respect. He's a bootlicker.
Yeah.
And that's where I completely diverge from him. Because I would refuse to lick boots. I've refused to lick boots in my working life. I've always refused to kiss ass. I just don't do it. Can't do it, won't do it. I'll go my own I just will not kiss ass. And Aaron Boone is a massive kiss ass. He has spent
there's nothing wrong.
Career with his tongue up Brian Cashman's ass. And where's it gone?
Woof.
Woof is right. But where's it gone?
Nowhere. Well, there's nothing wrong with being that guy that busts his ass for his boss while telling him everything wrong about what they're doing.
Yeah, you have to be honest. If you're not being honest, then you're not being honest.
That's why I always got along with my bosses. I'm going to do anything. Look, you give me a task, I'm going to do it. If I think it's opposite of effective, I'm going to be like, while I'm doing it, doing it a different way would make this go a lot easier, a lot quicker.
Right.
And let it sink in their minds and not to make a decision to make a change.
Exactly. You have to.
You can still do the work and criticize your boss. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't criticize at work.
Right. Exactly.
I don't be like, you don't
like me anymore. You have to be true to yourself. If you're sacrificing your own moral beliefs and your own beliefs, then I think there's a problem there. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think Aaron Boone probably is. Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's watched his friends be fired by Brian Cashman, and because he had a lot of friends on his coaching staff, a lot of them have been fired over the years, and Boone never defends them. He just keeps getting extended. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think Aaron Boone needs to be tougher. I've always said it. He just needs to be a tougher guy. Stand up to Cashman. But you can't do it because you're a baby.
Yeah.
And if it means that you get fired, so be it. You got how much money from the Yankees so far? You've been stealing a living from the Yankees since 2018. Right?
Highway robbery at its best.
Absolutely.
It's I'm going to take you for all the money I can. I'm going to pat you on the back while I do it. And as long as I keep praising you, you're going to keep giving me money. It's such it's an entitlement. They think that because they've reached that pinnacle of where they want to be, that his name's coming up in the chat. That's why I think the whole baseball world really respects Don Mattingly the way they do.
Yeah.
He knows when it's time. Like he does that going for the World Series. Now he's stepping down from his position as the bench coach. And that takes that's self-respect right there.
Mm-hmm.
He knows his value. I've taken this team as far as I can go. It's time to move on.
Love Donnie baseball.
Why can't Boone do the same thing? Look, I've done all I can. It's not working.
Right.
Yes, you don't want to talk yourself out of a job. I mean, Boone is not doesn't have the cachet that Mattingly does.
Right.
I'm not saying they're on the same plateau, but you know what I mean. You know what? You get my point.
That's a great point because, to be honest, I think Boone came off the best in the press conference because he wasn't trying to lie and gaslight us all. He's just being honest. He looked heartbroken and he was seriously questioning what he could have done more. And he even said it. He said that it was very difficult for a year, him personally managing the team. He said it. He said it was a very difficult year personally. I think that if he it says to me that he really genuinely cares, right? So I know that I've just spent the last 5 years ripping him apart, right? But I do genuinely believe there's a very good person in there. Like there is a good heart there. I think Aaron Boone has that. I think he's got a very good heart, and I think he genuinely cares about the people that he manages. I think that in that respect, he's got that job down 10 out of 10. Aaron Judge loves him. The players love him, right? And he obviously does a very good job and taking the bullets for them. So I'm trying to take a step back and I'm trying to be a little bit less.
He's still a human being.
Like there's some aspects to his management which is 10 out of 10, right? Unfortunately for me, the things that really matter for me in terms of taking a team the next step, holding players accountable, being tougher with them, finding a different way in which to unlock something that they didn't previously have or they didn't think that they had. Running through a wall for him, he just doesn't have it. And then he's already admitted right there on Talking Yanks that he's managing from the gut. Well, it's all been wrong. Like 99 times out of 100 is wrong.
He needs a gut check. That's what he needs.
Are off. And those are the kind of things that matter, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't matter to Brian Cashman. That's his prerogative. But as a fan, it matters to me. If you're getting outmanaged and you're making the wrong decisions and you can't get them to raise their standards and raise their levels, then you're just not that good. And to be honest, I think Aaron Boone, since 2018, at some point, has to come to the realization that he just doesn't have it. He's just not got it. And I think that he does genuinely care. Brian Cashman is too locked in his own ego. He's too focused on himself and proving everyone wrong that his way is the right way. That because honestly, his press conference, I keep saying, was disgraceful. It was a complete disgrace. It was arrogance. It was someone that really needs to wind his neck in. Like he was incredibly arrogant, and he kept saying how proud he was with the team and things like that. You never saw that with Boone. Boone was just like, I'm crushed. He looked heartbroken. So I'm going to give Aaron Boone some credit there. Like, I do genuinely think he cares. And for me, the biggest problem with a press conference was Cashman. However, to your point, Tats, Boone just doesn't have it. And if he had any real
self-respect,
and balls, and love of the Yankees, if he truly loved the Yankees, he'd resign. He would resign and go, you need a different voice. I can take them as far as I can take them, but we just can't get over the hump. I'm not that guy. Brian. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you for the 7 years. I'm just not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
You need a different voice. You need a tougher voice. I'm just not that person. I would have a lot more respect for Aaron Boone because Brian Cashman's never going to fire him. So if Aaron Boone really genuinely loved the Yankees, I think that he would resign. But at the moment, I can only judge him on his decisions. He keeps getting extended, and he keeps having us fail at the last hurdle. Thus, I have to hold him accountable for that.
Exactly. It really comes down to the product on the field and the outcomes of the seasons. And he's been, I think the front office, really the last few years have really undersold their ability.
Yeah.
They do have they have the talent to do any. They can be the Dodgers. They can be the Blue Jays. They can be these teams that are among the last ones standing. We saw it the year with Soto. That was a fun year because you saw that they wanted it. And that's why I think last year was such a regression because I think from the front office perspective, losing Soto hurt their ego so badly they didn't know what to do. Now the pivot moves phenomenal.
Yeah.
Not one complaint. We could have upgraded. We could have started the season with a third baseman, or a shortstop. But nonetheless, the moves that he made were really good upgrades. So I can't really get on the front office, as a complete failure. But like I said, they're just falling short. And I think Boone's reached that point. I don't think he can rebound. I think as far as this Yankees front office, I think the game has passed them by.
Absolutely. And to your point, man, Don Mattingly, to go right back to Don Mattingly, if Don Mattingly was a manager since 2018 and we got to this point without a world championship, Don Mattingly would have resigned 2-3 years ago saying, I'm not holding up my end of the bargain, I'm not winning it, But
he would have had to do that.
And that's why I don't respect Boone, for the fact that he keeps taking extensions, keeps taking the money, and keeps failing.
And he's not earning it.
Exactly. Where Don Mattingly was just like, you know what? I think there needs to be a new voice. I mean, that's the difference between a man who really cares about his profession and what he does, and a man who's just stealing a living.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aaron.
It's the truth, though. I've said it before. I would stay away from Mattingly only because I revere him so much. I'd hate to have to, get on here and after a game and tear him apart for a decision that didn't go his way. That would be painful for me. So that's why I never liked him as the idea of him as a manager.
But to be honest, I think he'd be great.
But I think at this stage of his coaching career, I think he's gained the cachet and the credentials where even if the game doesn't go his way, it's less likely that he would be torn apart from this fan base.
I think Mattingly's guidance would be huge to this team.
But
his guidance,
Junior saying he wouldn't have had the year he had without him.
Right, exactly. What he did for the Blue Jays was huge.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that guidance sitting there because I think he'll get the Hall of Fame eventually. One Hall of
he
Famer
better.
to a future Hall of Famer in Aaron Judge to possibly another Hall of Famer in Stanton and Cole, and sitting with him and going, right, this is how we can strategize. This is how we can do it. This is what it means to be a Yankee. Don Mattingly would do that. He knows what it means. He knows the standards that it takes. I think Mattingly would be great. But unfortunately,
I don't think we'll ever get the chance to see it.
no.
I think it would have happened already, and
Yeah.
Boone's just going to get another extension if they make the playoffs. So,
Oh God, stop!
you heard it here. You heard it here, folks.
Oh God.
But that is going to wrap things up for us. Hope everybody does enjoy their weekend. Hope everybody enjoys their football. Donald, what's going on with the Giants? I got to say, because I work with a lot of Giant fans, you got to, if there's one thing you can hold on to this year, it had to be Dart, right?
I love Dart. Dart's amazing. Jackson Dart is amazing. We've got our quarterback. He's the franchise guy.
I think he's the real deal.
Oh yeah, the things that you want, you look for. He's always got his head up. He's always looking to make plays. He's constantly moving with his head up, and he makes smart decisions with the football. And he's got a nice arm, but he's more. What is really? He's got that heart. He's got that heart. So he's great. Unfortunately, he's got nobody to throw to. He's got nobody to hand it off to. He doesn't have a coach, and it doesn't really have a GM. And the Giants don't really have any player development, and the Giants are in a mess. But they do have their quarterback. The only thing I'm praying for is that he stays healthy, because the Giants.
Well, I hope that next year he gets a healthy Scatterboo and Neighbors back.
Yes,
I think that then you're going to really see what I think it's going to. The heat's going to go up a bit.
Really, I think if the Giants were smart, in a couple of weeks they just say, "Dart, you've shown us everything."
It's not working. Like with Boone, it's not working.
No. What I'm saying is, Dart, you've shown us everything. I can't risk you getting injured. So,
I thought we were going to talk about getting rid of the coaches. Okay.
All right, and then maybe bench Dart for the last couple of games of the season, tank, get a really good pick, and then start again next year.
Yep.
Because we got our quarterback, but everything else is a mess.
I mean, because we need a team to step up for New York.
I know.
I mean, somebody's got to break this freaking cycle.
The Knicks. That's your. If you want someone to step up in New York, it's Knicks. It's not going to be the Jets, and it's not going to be the Mets.
No, I think the Knicks are going to break it.
I think it's going to be the Knicks.
I mean, the Liberty did it for us a few years ago. I don't want to discredit what they did. But as far as like with the Big Four, I think the Knicks are the closest to winning.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Just need to get in the basketball tats, and then I think you'll get a New York team that'll win.
Right. Listen, yeah, it's New York sports is in a really dark place right now.
It is.
There's no denying that. But enjoy the weekend, enjoy the games for the teams you root for. And we will be back on Monday. We'll check out any weekend highlights on the MLB side, and hope everybody does stay safe. And if they do bet smart, and don't get out of control. So with that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out, your friends, your family. The shade is on the corner. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tats with Donald and all of you fine people. Make sure you wear those pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Thanks, guys.